Currently, if you are New York City bound and plan to take a train, you have one chance a day to do so from Springfield. Last year, the state struck a deal that will temporarily add 2 more chances per day. But 2 senators from this region are among those concerned that very few people even know the Knowledge Corridor pilot program is set to launch. Senators Eric Lesser and Joe Comerford joined me to discuss why they're advocating for money to market the program.
We're really excited that the Senate accepted the amendment, that our colleagues understand the value of the opportunity of the Knowledge Corridor, and that we're able to offer this as an investment, a down payment in the kind of communications work that needs to be done. You know, now that the pilot is upon us, we have to make sure people know about it so that we can build a rider base that will demonstrate the efficacy of maintaining that service after the pilot expires.
Since the pilot hasn't even yet started, and we'll get into the details of that in a minute, how did you convince your colleagues to put this in the Senate version of the budget?
Yeah, well, I think for this one, the project really sells itself. I think what people need to appreciate is this is a major regional project that's been really well over a decade in the making. Going back even to the Obama administration stimulus, there's been an effort to connect the Pioneer Valley through rail service. This project really goes from the Vermont border to the Connecticut border. Over $100 million has been invested already to get those tracks and the ancillary infrastructure up to speed, so to speak. And, just what an exciting opportunity that you'll be able to go from Greenfield all the way to New York City round trip in one day. I mean, that is really a big deal. And the crazy thing is I don't think people really know about it. When we're out in the community, people don't know that this is going to be happening very soon, which is why we work to put the money in for marketing.
And to that point about going to be happening, Governor Baker came out here a little over a year ago to Union Station to make this announcement that this extended rail service would be happening, that the state had struck a deal with the Amtrak and the state of Connecticut to add these 2 routes as a pilot project, and that it would be happening in the spring of 2019. Spring has come and gone. Here we are, it's pushed to summer 2019. Will it even happen in summer of 2019?
We don't have reason to believe, and the senator should correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't have reason to believe that we're going to push it farther at this point. But, I think we're hearing now late summer, which again just adds urgency on our part to make sure that there's a comprehensive marketing plan or a communications plan so that people across this region have an understanding that, hey, come fall of this year, we'll be able to really have service that we've never even thought possible before.
Do we know what's gotten in the way to this point? Because pretty much right after Governor Baker made the announcement, the delay was also announced.
Yeah. Well, it is a complicated project, and there's a lot of moving pieces. They have to get the rolling stock from a certain location. They have to time out the pilot. It has to be synchronized both with the Amtrak trains and with the new Connecticut DOT trains that are operating Springfield South, to Hartford and New Haven. But the bigger point, Carrie, here is a good one and an important one, which is the communication does need to be improved. We were told a spring pilot. It's now June. It's come and gone. We're hoping the summer pilot will be announced. Part of the effort with the amendment that we filed and the money that we're hopefully going to try to secure in this version of the budget is to really make sure that MassDOT has the resources it needs to get the word out, because business community is asking questions, local constituents up and down the corridor are asking questions, and you would think that if it's going to be launched this summer, some type of marketing program would really need to be getting started now, right, in order to get the word out to people so that they can start planning their trips.
Because as this moves forward, Department of Transportation has set a benchmark that it wants to see 24,000 riders to determine whether or not, once it gets going, if it will continue. Do you think that there is that market for those 24,000 riders or even more?
Yeah, I think we've seen some real promising numbers from the Amtrak service that's currently running.
Absolutely.
We've seen some real spikes, and we can just only imagine that if we can increase the frequency and increase the speed by which people can go down and back to New York. Right. I call it the down and back,
because
the opportunity.
Right now you have to stay overnight. If you even take the Vermonter, which only runs once a day.
Under the current, the pilot would turn that into a round trip.
Of course it would, right. But right. I mean, under the current, the way the rail service works now, you have to stay overnight.
Right, exactly. And that works for some folks. And we've seen a spike in those folks. And so we can just only imagine that if we can increase their frequency and make it possible to go down and back from our region to New York City and through Connecticut, making stops in Connecticut, that not only will we use it here in Western Massachusetts, but folks in Connecticut, folks in New York City, where the marketing will have to stretch to over time, will think, oh, this is a great way to get to Western Massachusetts. And it's not only the business community. I totally agree with you, Senator Lesser, that the business community is anxious. I know we've heard from the arts community.
Everyone, yeah.
We've heard from the educational
Yeah.
institutions wanting to bring visiting faculty.
Hospitals.
Hospitals, exactly. This has opportunities for every sector that we can imagine.
Governor Baker has said that the state is investing about $1 million in this. But do you have any sense of that return on investment that will come from that? You talked about hospitals, you talked about arts.
The return is almost incalculable because, the single biggest challenge we have in Western Mass, it's a great place to live. We're on here all the time talking about the amazing schools we've got, the cultural institutions. There's so much going on here, the open space. The single biggest challenge we have is that our economy is not growing fast enough to include all of our families, to include all of the communities just outside the walls of this studio. We need to connect ourselves to those red-hot economies where the jobs are being created, and that's going to pump investment back into Western Mass. It's an incalculable change that will result, and we know this because we've seen what the impact has been just on the platform improvements, for example, in Northampton, where you've seen record passenger turnout at the Northampton station for connectivity down into New York. But the challenge here is it's not going to be a success if you don't get the word out. Sometimes you almost fear that they're setting it up for failure, because if you've put, again, over $100 million of investment into this north-south corridor, you've spent a decade working on it, and just at the moment when the train is going to come online and it's time to get everybody on board, you don't even market it, you don't even get the word out, you don't even run an ad. I mean, think about the Big E, how long they do advertisements for the Big E before the run-up to the fair opening. You have one of the single biggest and most important infrastructure projects, frankly, in the history of Western Massachusetts, opening up potentially this summer, and right now there doesn't seem to be an adequate plan for getting the word out about it.
Let's continue with rail, but move on to other projects. Senator, you've talked a lot on this program about west to east or east to west rail to Boston. Depending on your camp, I suppose, or your faction.
Yeah. Our friend and colleague, Smitty Pignatelli, he calls it West-East Rail, which I'm all for because it kind of changes the orientation of how we talk about it.
Right,
so.
Getting Springfield to Boston.
Exactly.
Where does this stand right now? We've talked a lot about pilot and whether or not there's enough support for the final project. Where is it right now?
So the feasibility study is ongoing. There was a listening session in Springfield actually not too long ago, and there are more scheduled for around the route. Along the route, and the hope is first quarter of 2020 we're going to have that feasibility study complete. MassDOT's going to be giving us. Now, this isn't, a 20-page. This isn't going to be a 20-page, working group report. This is going to be a real engineering and feasibility analysis, the first one
So
really done.
actionable.
Something that's actionable, written by engineers, that's going to tell us what's involved in actually making this a reality. It's very exciting. All eyes are on it, and we're very hopeful that the results are going to be very positive. The hope is, and what MassDOT has told us, is that they're going to present it really as a menu of options. So they're going to say, provide 5 or 6 different options of service, and there will obviously be a price tag attached to each of those options. But one thing that we've been pushing, and that I think is very important, is what would it look like to have the route from Springfield to Boston be 1 hour? Let's give that vision and that goal to the public, and then let's have a debate about investments and what it will cost. We don't know what the number will be yet. It will obviously be substantial. No one's pretending it would be a small project, but it's very, very exciting that we're now at a point where we're getting very close to seeing those documents come back.
And Senator Comerford, you'd like to see it go a step further and then eventually extend to North Adams. You've introduced legislation to that effect.
Yeah, yes, I did. And it's important, though, to acknowledge that the legislation or the outside section that we were able to move in the budget actually acknowledges that the east-west rail or west-east rail that Senator Lesser is moving comes first, right? So our study wouldn't start until Senator Lesser's study ends. And so I'm very excited. I hear this all the time, every time. This is not an exaggeration. I am in Franklin County, and at a public event, someone goes, "Hey, what about why isn't there rail anymore along the Route 2 corridor or the northern tier?" And people in Franklin County remember passenger rail. They remember it. They used to ride on it up until the 60s, the late 60s. And, you know, it's an opportunity for us to look at the return on investment, what it would take, a menu of options, none of which are going to happen tremendously quickly, you know, if we're successful. But it's an opportunity for us to get engineers to look at the tracks, to look at the possibility of that rail stretching from North Adams into Fitchburg and hooking up with the commuter rail there. And think about the opportunities for Franklin, northern Franklin and Berkshire counties.